Welcome back to Is It Worth It with Joe and Zach.
Hey.
I love the start of all these episodes. Oh man, I gotta tell you a funny story. We're getting hot right off the bat here. So today at church, Tia and I were talking.
Oh no.
And
I know where this is going.
And she's like, so
I know where this is going.
So you and Joe have a podcast? I was like, yeah.
Yeah.
And so she's like, so what's the name of it?
Not saying that.
And I was like, is it worth it? And so I showed her.
Oh, you showed her?
Yeah.
Like which one?
And it just so happened it went on to the Diet Squirt episode. So, and I didn't know that's what the episode was. And so Joe's community group leader at church has now heard him make squirt jokes. She was laughing, but also was clearly uncomfortable. But she laughed it off.
Well, what happened? Let me tell you.
Oh yeah, no, I want to know. I want to know your part.
There's some more background on this, right? We'll
for your side
on my side, putting the pieces of the puzzle together. So we were originally going to record this podcast the night earlier, and I had said at community group, I told my group I'm going to have to leave a little bit early
because they don't understand what that is.
I told my Bible study I'm going to have to leave a few minutes
Bible
early,
study.
right?
Yep.
And I didn't say why. And then eventually I'm asked, why do you have to leave early?
Oh, yeah, because they're making sure you aren't selling drugs.
Right.
In the
I'm
street.
like, I'm doing a podcast. And like, oh, we didn't know you do a podcast. What's it called? Is it on anywhere? I'm like,
That's hilarious. Joe's not proud of us.
Well, no.
Joe's not proud of the fans.
Well, no.
Well, that's just because you drop F-bombs on this show.
As if you don't.
I really don't.
You do sometimes.
Man, roll that tape back, Joe. I've said an F-bomb on this podcast once.
Okay.
I say shit a lot.
Yeah.
I feel like
same
that
thing.
I don't know about that. Fornicating versus something that comes out of your aim? I don't know, Joe. That's a big difference in my opinion.
Could be the same thing.
Gonna show Tia this one. Yeah. That you got a sad look on your face. All right. So enough of that. I just thought it was kind of funny that got brought up in conversation today. And then she listened to it, and so did Matt Walker, Josh Dewar, Steph, Jared, and myself all in a room. And we listened to part of it. And eventually she just stopped it. Fantastic.
That sounds horrible and awkward.
It wasn't awkward. See, but I don't...
Sounds weird.
But I don't get embarrassed real easy.
Yeah, but it still sounds weird.
No, I mean, it was a little weird, but like... it's fine for me. I really could care less. So today, this we promise no Breaking Bad in this one because we've sucked at that. What we are doing though, we're gonna do sci-fi because I feel like this is such a fun topic to explore. Joe came up with this idea because, of course, we're gonna talk about the new Star Wars trailer because we have to. It's the last one. This is the last Skywalker Star Wars trailer we will ever get. Think about that. There's a lot of lasts here that are coming up with this whole Star Wars trilogy that's ending. But we figured, while we're talking about Star Wars, let's just talk about sci-fi in general. I feel like we haven't touched on it a whole lot. I'm big on sci-fi. I'm really nerdy about that because I think it's so fascinating how there's different sci-fi is usually like a space type term, but it's science fiction, but a lot of science fiction stuff I feel like is like on other planets and like all this other stuff. You ever watch Sci-Fi Network though?
Yeah.
That isn't always like other planetary stuff. Sometimes it's just
sci-fi.
Weird, like werewolves or vampires.
Sci-fi's got like the magicians, and like a bunch of like sort of teen.
Oh yeah, they have the
teen stuff like that.
What is what's the one about the history? The historians or the guy who's like sort of like Indiana Jones.
I have no idea.
Man, I think that's a sci-fi.
I know
show.
they got the magicians, which is probably something I'll talk about while we're talking about sci-fi.
Yeah, you bring that up. I've never seen that, but we can talk about
it. Good book, good movie.
So we'll get to the Star Wars portion a little bit later, purposefully, because I feel like we can finally give like our last takes sort of before, like we'll give one last, so this will be our second to last one before we actually see the movie, because of course we're gonna see it as soon as it comes out. When's it come out? December 19th, I think.
Around Christmas.
I think it's December 19th. I won't be leaving home yet, so we will have to see it.
So you're going home. You are going home.
I don't know yet.
Maybe. Okay.
I heard
it was up in the air.
Yeah, it is still up in the air. We'll see. But either way, if I do or don't, we can still see it the night it comes out, which you have to. I mean, come on. But we'll get to that a little bit later. One of the things I want to touch on is, so again, I said I'm big into sci-fi, but there are like subgenres in sci-fi type of stuff. Sort of like with other shows and movies, like there's different type of horror movies. There's slasher movies where it's like a serial killer, or there's like Exorcist where it's like demonic and like other crazy things like that. And I think sci-fi movies and TV shows can kind of be split up into two separate categories, or I mean probably a couple more, but these are the two biggest ones that I can see. One is anything otherworldly, aliens, alternate realities on a different planet, stuff like that. Or like werewolves, vampires, like stuff like that. I lean towards and like the whole space version a lot more. Space has always fascinated me ever since I was a kid. So I'm a huge Star Wars guy. Love Interstellar, which I'm going to talk about.
So you're saying like stuff that goes on outside of Earth
is
on the one side, and then the stuff that is just supernatural.
Yes.
Okay.
I think that's probably how I would split
I guess the
up
stuff
sci-fi.
that goes on outside of the Earth isn't so much is actually science, like within like the universe of Star Trek or Star Wars. It's not like magic. It's like,
no, exactly. That's why it's still classified as sci-fi.
Right. And then the stuff where if you're talking like werewolves or like magic or stuff like that is sort of more just kind of supernatural stuff that just happens.
And that's the funny thing is I think that's still classified as sci-fi.
It is. Yeah. Because I think science fiction is classified as just stuff that happens that can't actually happen.
Yeah. So to point out one of my favorite movies of all time, how about we both do one of our favorite sci-fi movies or TV shows from each of those two categories.
Right.
So let's start with space first. I'll go with mine and then you go with yours. Interstellar. A lot of people really like The Martian as well.
I don't think I've seen either of them.
Interstellar is one of my favorite, probably top 2, if not top 3 favorite movies of all time. It's Matthew McConaughey. This is like Earth probably about 100 years from now, where supposedly we've run out of crops. We can't even plant with the soil anymore. It's like climate change gone wrong, sort of. They don't really like bury that in your head or anything, or hit you in the head with it too much. But that's just the reality for these people. And Matthew McConaughey is an astronaut, but he's also a farmer. And because everybody's trying to be a farmer, because they're trying to figure out how to live and eat and not die, basically. Everything is made with corn because that's the only thing that will grow. And basically they commission Matthew McConaughey to see if they can inhabit other worlds to save the human race. Because if not, they're going to die. One of the cool things, and this is probably my favorite type of science fiction movie, is when they manipulate and play with time, specifically. Because I think time is such a fun concept that you can mess around with a lot. So like time traveling movies, love them. This movie in particular, they were saying like, so when you're on different worlds, technically a day on one world is not the same day as here because of the rotation of the sun.
Right, so it could be, That's why in like space movies, it'll often be like objective time, not like a day, but like a unit, like a widely accepted galactic unit or something.
Yes, basically. So one of the big twists in the movie, and if you haven't seen the movie, it's been out for like 7 years. Come on. This isn't a spoiler at this point. Matthew McConaughey's character is mostly doing this for the sake of his daughter, Murph, who, throughout, she's only like 8, I think. And he isn't in space for very long. He's maybe in there for like a month, and he's thinking, man, this will only take like 6 months probably, I think, is what the premise is. And then eventually he realizes that he has to go through this one planet in particular where every hour is 7 years. Mm-hmm. So he has to set his watch and go down and see if it's possible. He has to take samples and see if he can actually, if life can sustain itself there.
Right. But basically it has to be quick, I guess.
Yes. It took him 4 hours because he got, it was like a planet mostly full of water, mm-hmm. and his ship got overturned. So it took him forever to actually get out.
Like 28 years.
Uh-huh. So he comes back, and the entire time his daughter has been sending him these video messages that he can't necessarily respond to. And he sees, and it's such a heartbreaking moment. This is one of the most heartbreaking moments I've ever seen in any movie. And that's why, like, I think it does such a good job being science fiction and pulling at your heartstrings. It's not just like oh man, this is crazy out of this world type stuff. But the two different moments I'm going to talk about with Interstellar are some of the craziest and most heartfelt moments I've ever seen in any movies. You watch him go back up into the spaceship and watch all of the videos that she sent over the years and never hearing back from him. She gets mad. She gets hurt. She feels like he's either dead or doesn't love her. Eventually, she just stops sending videos. And then he doesn't get anything else. Later on in the movie, what ends up happening is they go through a wormhole because they discover that basically this is the only way we can ever get back home. There's a possibility we can do it, but there's a possibility that we die. And if those are your only two choices, dying in space or possibly getting home, I'm trying to get home, even if I die in the process. They go through it. It's a weird, one of the coolest, trippiest scenes I've ever seen in a movie. But that's a different discussion for a different time. There's like this crazy twist in all of it, but I'm not going to get to that because I've already talked a lot and I want you to get to your point. But the other super sad part of this, they go through the wormhole, okay? They end up getting the right technology or whatever to save the world through other happenstance that is a different topic. And Matthew McConaughey gets back to Earth, or it's like a planetary station at this point that they created to save Earth, outside of Earth, because Earth is done at this point. It was 100 years later.
100 years?
100 years.
Not 35 or 40, 28.
When they went through the wormhole, time expanded even farther. It's been 100 years. Okay. He goes to this planetary station thing. His daughter's an old lady.
Still alive.
Mm-hmm. She's like 108. You got to think this is the future, so the medicine's better. So, she's going to live to 108. But it's crazy. He met her when she was 108, and that was her dad. Blew her away. She had grandkids, so he had grandkids, like great-grandkids, like all this stuff.
And he's only, in his 40s or so?
It's crazy. It was weird. It really messes with your head because you're just like, imagine if that happened to you. I'm just going to be honest here. I'd probably just kill myself.
I mean, what's the point at that point? What's the point of living?
Like at that point, it's just like I disappointed this kid for 100 years. She thought I was a shitty dad for that long. And there's nothing I can do now. She's about to die. I can't make this better. I've already made it better showing her that, like, I didn't actually leave you. But man, that messes with your head. That's why that movie. I feel like it's
sort of reminds me that type of thing, like Futurama.
Yeah,
that might have been the show you were going to say. I don't know, but where he leaves for 1,000 years, and it's different.
Well, I am going to talk about that because that's just like my favorite show all time.
There's I'm going to talk about, this isn't one of my picks, but there's a Twilight Zone episode.
Oh, first off, we love Twilight Zone on this podcast. That is one of my favorite shows all time, and I know it is for you too.
Yeah,
fantastic show. But go ahead. What's the episode?
So the guy they have, it's basically this guy's going into space, right? But the way that it works, he'll be gone for 40 years, 20 years there, 20 years back.
Yeah.
So they have technology in this episode that allows you to basically freeze yourself, right?
Yeah.
But he can't really like use it, or at least he doesn't think he can use it. I barely remember how this one works. But now I remember. Okay. So
I love when we try and piece together.
I'm trying to remember. It's, it's been a while.
No. I love when we try and piece together episodes of Twilight Zone, because like we'll watch them sometimes and we'll be like, man, is it this episode? Nah, I think it's this episode. And then halfway through, we're both wrong and we're just like, oh shit, it's this one. It's even more dope. But go ahead.
So basically, this guy he decides like he's going away, and he has this woman who he loves, and she's on Earth, but there's obviously the 40-year difference.
Yeah.
And he's like, live your life, do whatever, like do your thing, and he's going to get put in basically stasis for 40 years, because what are you supposed to do for 40 years on your own,
Oh, yeah.
Kill you,
just
literally doing nothing.
I would go crazy.
Literally doing...
I would, like solitary confinement. Yeah. We've talked about that before plenty of times. We're like, that, if you aren't...
worse punishment than that.
No, if you aren't crazy before you go in there, you are going to be crazy when you get out. But that's the same concept. You're by yourself, man.
So basically, he decides he goes, right? And the twist is that she decided to put herself in stasis to wait for him.
Oh.
And
I don't think I've ever seen that episode.
Didn't realize that she was going to do that.
Oh, so he stayed out.
Oh,
so he's an old man.
So he comes back and he's 70, whatever, old man. She's still young. And wow, they both messed up. It's like Romeo and Juliet, sort of.
Yeah.
In a twisted, probably worse way, because it's more tragic. Instead of them both being dead,
he lived his whole life.
He lived his whole life,
man,
looking forward to this a little bit of time he could have in 40 years.
Wow.
And she put herself in stasis, abandoned her whole life for 40 years, basically, so that she could live her life with him when he came back. And they both just got screwed. Yeah. I think plots like that are always get me, because just the passage of time is something to me that is sad, because
that's why, like, what I
in movies and TV shows, it's letting your life get away from you. That's just a big fear that I have,
Like, you in general?
Yeah,
you have
in general. And I think that's why stuff like that in movies, TV shows will get at you, because it's like, you wasted your life.
Sure.
And you're old now, and you had your chance, and now you're 70 or 80, and you don't have that much more to look forward to, and then you're going to die.
Yeah, I guess that's part of, like, why I brought up the Interstellar, because, like I said, so many of the movies and shows that I really like are centered around like really crazy things like that, especially time related. Like, have you ever I think it was a book that I read once called I think it was just called the Time Machine. Such a good book. And they actually, funny enough, made an episode of Futurama that was kind of like that.
Really?
Where so another well-known fact around here, I love Futurama.
Yeah, it's his favorite show.
Easily my favorite show. I just think it's so witty and so fun. Like, sci-fi in itself is crazy when you think about it, because they have endless possibilities. Mm-hmm. They do not have to conform to rules.
Right.
They can create their own, because it's science fiction. It doesn't have to make sense.
Right.
At all. Like, there are so many things in Futurama that don't make sense, but it makes sense in the universe that they put it in. So, one of the episodes, Fry, who's the main character, is with the professor, who is this old guy who is like a crazy, like typical crazy, like mad scientist type person, and Bender, the robot, which super famous character that you've probably seen before, you just didn't know his name necessarily. All three of them are testing the professor's new time machine. Okay. And it is Fry and Leela's anniversary or whatever of dating, or he was just taking her on a date. And he's super late to things normally. The episode kind of prefaces it with that. And so they get in the time machine, and the professor just wanted to test, like, that it went ahead like 3 minutes. And Fry's like, man, I'm already, he's like, I'm 10 minutes early. That's fine. I can like handle 3 minutes. Yeah. Professor accidentally pushes it too far, and it goes 1,000 years. And he had this birthday card, it was her birthday. That's what it was. And he had this birthday card where like it was like a face one, right. Like, so it's future. So it's like you said, set in the year 3000. Mm-hmm. And it's like a video message card. And it was like, hey, Leela, sorry, I might be running 2 minutes late now because of the professor's thing. And then it cuts forward, and the card goes out of the time machine. And it gets caught, which is kind of funny how this works. It gets caught like 40 years in the future. Like, it ends up teleporting like that mm-hmm. far instead of 1,000 or whatever. And you see Leela's life go forward as if Fry just stood her up and then died, because they were supposed to go to a bachelor party, quote unquote, where everybody died. Like, on the news, it was on the news that everybody died, so everybody just suspected that they died.
Right.
But instead they were just lost in time. And they show Leela's progression through the show of what it would have been like if that would have happened, if he would have just left, if the professor left, Bender left, all of that. And then you see the other...
She's basically alone.
Yeah. And she, like, sticks to the job. She's, like, married to the job, basically, at that point. And, like, doesn't want to deal with anybody, and hasn't found love, and doesn't care. And then you see the other perspective of Fry, Bender, and the professor. They just keep going through time and, like, moving forward, and there's a bunch of funny, like, weird things that happen. And then the professor goes, oh, and, eventually, if we go far enough ahead, somebody would have invented the backwards time machine, because that was the whole point, was that he had only invented a forward time machine.
Right, so he had to go far enough where...
He had to go far enough to where somebody had invented a backwards one.
Right.
And he eventually goes too far, and all life on the planet is gone. It's like 1 billion years in the future, okay? So at that point, they're all like, well, man, this is it. We're just going to die like this. And so they pull out a 6-pack of beer that was stashed away in Bender, and they say, all right, you want to drink a 6-pack and watch the stars fade out of existence? And they go, yeah, that'd be nice. So the professor grabs onto the clutch thing and moves it forward as far as it'll go, and they slowly watch as all of the atoms and the stars fade out of existence. And then they think to themselves, All right, that's it. And this is what's cool about sci-fi, this next portion. Then, as they're sitting there, regardless of whether you believe in the Big Bang or not, a second Big Bang happens. And the entire same universe is reborn. And they only have to go forward enough to where they left off. So basically, their premise was, this is a loop. All of reality, all of time is in a loop that continues over and over again. This moment that you and I are having has happened 1,000,000 times before, and it'll happen 1,000,000 more times.
Yeah, that's freaky.
Because life is on a loop.
And it just keeps happening.
And you just don't know it keeps happening. Yeah. Think about how crazy that would be if that were true.
Yeah. It's not, though.
No, it's not, and I don't believe that, but I like when shows test boundaries.
Yeah, at least
like
they get into your
It
mind.
makes you think.
Yeah.
I love like, there are some shows I watch just for the sake of watching, like just for a good laugh or just to throw on in the background. But I love shows like that make me think sometimes. Like, damn, what if that was real? You know? So, okay. Did you give... No, you didn't.
No, mine's a lot lighter.
For the space one?
Yeah, for the movie or TV show?
It doesn't matter.
Oh, I can do
No, yeah, because I said you could do a movie, TV show for space, and then movie, TV show for regular sci-fi, okay. Like other non.
I'm not a big movie guy.
Yeah,
so I'll probably go with TV show for both of them. I'm gonna go with Doctor Who.
Oh, okay, that's good.
Which is, I know you probably never watched it. Real nerdy British TV show. Been around.
I know a lot of people that have watched it. I've just never watched it.
56 years at this point.
56 years? Is that real?
Yeah, they took a 16-year break in the middle, but aside from that, it's been continuously running.
Why'd they take a break?
I think the BBC just kind of lost interest, and then they made a TV movie in the middle. Like, they did 8 years of break, TV movie, and then they rebooted it 8 years later. Okay. Yeah. They rebooted it in 2005. Rebooted it in 2005, and it's been running ever since. I don't know what
rebooting it is.
They go through sort of a lot of the same things. So there's this one great episode where they're basically, if you're not aware of the premise of Doctor Who, then that's good because you're not nerdy. But it's this dude, this guy who is a time traveler. He has this device called a TARDIS that is bigger on the inside than the out. It looks like a phone booth on the outside, but it's actually a big spaceship. It's a spaceship and a time machine that can basically do whatever it wants. The Doctor is the guy who inhabits it, and he's super lonely, so he usually finds some sort of human companions to go along with him. Yeah. And they do adventures, they go to space, they save the Earth, all that kind of stuff. I think one really great episode is he's with two of his companions who are married at that point. Yeah. And they stop on this weird random planet. It doesn't really matter what planet, but he has to take a break. He's having issues with the TARDIS, so he lets one of them go out for a second, fiddles with something, and when he reappears, it's been 36 years.
Oh, wow.
So she's been on her own for 36 years, basically just thinking, well, they abandoned me, and I'm going to live here forever.
Man, could you imagine?
Same actress. Did a really good job with, the makeup and stuff like that. But just the attitude of, having to fend for yourself and basically realizing that you can't depend on anyone at that point. Really good look at just what time does. The best part of Doctor Who is the fact that it reboots every now and again. So you basically see the Doctor is this alien who can, every time he's about to die, he can turn into a new person, basically. Same basic person, same heart, same soul, whatever, but different personality, different face. It's how it's been able to keep running for 50 years because they've had, I think, 13 Doctors now.
Jeez, oh man, could you imagine?
But they keep pursuing the same themes and topics with a little different personality each time.
How many episodes of that do you think there's been?
Probably
thousands.
Probably 1,000.
Probably 1,000.
Maybe like 500 or so.
No, come on. Like,
well, they don't do that many episodes every year.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. Because I was going to say The Simpsons have
so they'll do like
goodness, probably
like maybe 12 episodes.
Okay, that makes a lot more sense. Because
and they'll take like 2019 didn't have any Doctor Who.
Why?
Showrunners just decided to take a break.
So they suck, is what you're saying.
Yeah, so they're just not having it this year.
Oh, perfect. Yeah, our very own Ryan Toffel just decided to stroll up in here with his pretty looking face. Say hello.
Hello.
All right, good. That's enough.
Yeah. Anyway, that's about it for Doctor Who.
Okay. We're going to do a kind of a zigzag pattern. Now I want you to give me, because I feel like I've talked a lot this podcast. Actually, you know what? No. We're about halfway through. So we're going to do the promo spot real quick. We have eToro as our spot this week.
Thanks, eToro.
Yeah. Basically, same thing as usual. We talk about them every week. And here's the thing. eToro it's a fun social trading platform.
It really is fun.
And it's got a super clean interface that we've talked about plenty of times before. Right now, there's 14 different coins to trade currently, including Bitcoin, Ethereum, Dash, Litecoin, Zcash, bunch more. Those are just some of the big ones that, easier to name. Basically, what you can do, I would say like Monopoly money is a good way to explain it. You get a free $100,000.
$100,000?
Yeah.
Wow.
If you sign up for a virtual account in that free, sweet money that you can play around and see if you'd actually be good at this type of stuff. I don't know about you, but I think that's a lot of fun. This is following it in real time like a regular stock market, and you get to trade based off real-time analysis. So you get to see, hey man, if I invested $1,000 in this, would it actually pan out for me? Do I know what I'm doing? Because that can be scary, throwing a ton of your own money in there. But the other cool thing about eToro is that they've been doing this for 12 years now. 12 years, guys. 2007. And they have 10 million users. That is a ridiculous amount of people. And they just keep growing. Like, I don't see them stopping anytime soon, especially with how big cryptos are getting. And God knows that it'll probably just get bigger. So do us a favor. Head over to youmebtc.com/trade and sign up. Again, that's youmebtc.com/trade. Really just want to thank eToro for being such a big part of this podcast so far.
Thank you so much.
Our favorite sponsor by far. Now, here's the thing, Joe.
What's the thing?
We're getting into the good stuff now.
The goods.
So tell me, give me your non-space related favorite sci-fi TV show or movie.
The Magicians.
Go ahead and please describe that for me, because I've never heard of it.
In one sentence or two sentences, it's Harry Potter if Harry Potter had depression and drugs and real life. Basically, based on a book, really good book series, about these kids who go to this secret magic school in upstate New York, and basically they have special abilities that they've been gifted with or blessed with or whatever to do magic. And it's like Hogwarts. It's supposed to be, the equivalent of like Hogwarts. But they are like normal college students. It's like a regular college, except they go through like normal college student stuff. In the TV show, it's grad school because they got older actors. Eventually, the twist is that everyone in this TV show is a fan of these books called Fillory and Further, which are supposed to be basically our Chronicles of Narnia. Where you go through into the magic world through the bookcase or cabinet or whatever and find Narnia. They eventually find out their Narnia is real. So it mixes in basically this stuff about Hogwarts and their Hogwarts with their magic world that is also true. And basically it's just a darker version of both Harry Potter and the Chronicles of Narnia. A lot of killing and death and good stuff. Magic, and it's like adult Harry Potter. Really good show.
I'm going to be honest, that sounds pretty dope. Maybe I'll have to check that out.
Yeah. It's
what is that on?
It's on Netflix now. It's on Sci-Fi. It airs on Sci-Fi. The book series is good. One of the great things about the TV show is it's not often that I'll say that a screen adaptation of a book series is just as good, but this one probably is. It's one of the most underrated shows on TV right now. I think it's
so. Is the budget? Say that again.
The budget's pretty good. Yeah.
Like, I mean, does CGI look bad? Basically, no. Is what I'm asking.
No.
What were you about to say before that, though?
Oh, I think it's its 4th or 5th season. I'm not quite sure. They've sort of run out of the book. They ran out of the book material last year, and the season was still really good. So they're sort of doing their own thing now, and it's very entertaining.
I mean, that sounds like a really good show, so I might have to check it out.
One of my favorite shows.
So what is the next? Oh, wait, I guess I have...
Yeah, you haven't done your thing yet.
Well, I mean, you kind of stole my thunder to a degree, because I do want to talk about Futurama, obviously. But I feel like that's too much, like, space, because it is, like...
I knew you were going to talk about Futurama. I had to bring it up because I knew that was going to be your show.
Yeah. So. That's too space, because it is super space story related. So I'll pick something different. Man, that's tough. I really like... What is a sci-fi show? So actually, funny enough, crap, what is the name of that called? What
are you talking about?
So the makers of Futurama, actually, I think it's called Enchanted.
Not the movie.
Not the movie.
Okay, that was a really good movie, though.
No, it was a good movie. Let me make sure. Oh, Disenchantment is what it's called.
Disenchantment.
Yeah. Oh, dang, wait. Did I? Did they already do the second season? Oh, man. I did not know. Holy piss, I gotta watch this when I get home. That made me really excited. So I binge watched. Dang, that's dope. I binge watched the first season of Disenchantment, which is a Middle Ages version of Futurama, basically.
Middle Ages version? Okay.
Yeah, so medieval times.
Right.
Where it shows like trolls and wizards and like
all that stuff.
Yeah, all that type of stuff. And but it has the same type of wit and other types of things that Futurama has, where it has its connections to regular society, but it's far enough separated that it makes it fun and interesting and original. I don't know, there's just something about the creators of Futurama in that style, like, because they do The Simpsons too, Matt Groening, and I like The Simpsons, but not that much.
I actually never watched The Simpsons.
I watched it as a kid with my dad for a while. And
I feel like it's more of a cultural thing than anything else at this point.
Oh, for sure it is. I think it is bigger than pop culture.
Yeah, it's like
that's like LeBron is bigger than basketball.
Well, what he would like to be, yeah.
Yeah, he is. We know he is.
Yeah, what he would like to be.
No, you know he is. Don't even give me that bullshit.
Not a fan of LeBron these days.
Well, yeah, but that's a different story. I mean, I'm disappointed in him too, but just because your heroes do stupid shit doesn't mean you don't love them anymore. That's dumb. We're all stupid. If you did something stupid, that doesn't mean I don't love you anymore.
Okay, thanks. I've never done anything stupid, though.
No, Joe's never done a dumb thing in his life. But I would have to say The Disenchanted. So, the next thing we're going to do, talk about Star Wars.
Oh, yeah.
Then you're going to give your hot take.
My hot take.
We're going to talk about if we think it's going to be worth it. Besides the fact, I think we need to preface this by saying that when we say, is it worth it, we have to understand we can't just give it a yes just because it's Star Wars.
No, I know.
It has to be I legitimately believe that this movie will be good.
Right.
You know, not that I'm going to go see it, because of course I'm going to go see this movie.
Right.
It's, do I actually think it's going to be good or not? So, if you want to go ahead and start, talk about your thoughts on the latest trailer.
So the trailer is really good. I'm assuming if you're listening to this that you've heard it, so I'm not going to summarize what happens. It looks cool. There's Kylo Ren. You got Rey. You got more useless characters who I won't name. The thing with the trailer I'm a little disappointed about, there's no plot. Like, I have no idea what the plot is going to be. It's a lot of action and sounds and characters and stuff going on with very little substance, which is fine.
I mean, it is a trailer.
It is the final trailer. So
you were hoping for a little bit more, basically?
Yeah. I think with the other ones, you sort of had an idea of what was going to happen.
You mean with the other movies in the trilogy?
Yeah, you have no idea what's going to happen here. From a perspective of it's Star Wars, then yeah, of course, you know, if you're a Star Wars fan, you're excited. I like the idea of, well, I don't know if I like it, but I'm excited to see what they do with Carrie Fisher. Hopefully they'll give her a good send-off, because obviously she passed away about a year and a half ago. I'm excited for it. I think probably what I'm most hyped for is Palpatine going to be back in it. You could hear his voice in the last trailer. Did you see the one portion of the trailer though that I saw somebody slowed it down, and you can see Kylo Ren and Rey both hitting their lightsabers against a what seems to be like a statue of Palpatine. Yeah.
But
okay. Yeah, that's what that was. I was wondering what that was. I thought it was a statue of Darth Vader, but no.
Yeah, I originally thought that too, but I'm pretty sure it's Palpatine.
I think Palpatine is. I'm not a fan of the prequels. Palpatine was one of the saving graces of the prequels.
Oh, of course,
he's just great.
He ties it together too.
He's not. It's not just that, but he's great. Just a great performance. He's scary. He's insidious, but he also then comes off as cunning and sort of harmless when he needs to.
Yeah,
great actor. Really looking forward to seeing him back. I'm hoping that it's not just like flashbacks type of thing. I would really love if he were to come back as like a villain.
How is he going to be alive though?
I don't know. I do know
talk to me through that process in your head. No, there has to be a theory or something. You know what I mean?
I mean, there's so many ways that it could happen, because obviously he is a Jedi, and we saw him, you know, get electrocuted and thrown down that thing and explode, and then
we technically never saw him die, though.
Right, we never saw him die. There's a lot of ways he could have escaped. My thing with the trilogy so far, one of the biggest thing, is that the villains really suck. Like, Kylo Ren is awesome.
Oh, with the new trilogy?
He's not a great villain.
Yeah, these are terrible
The First Order...
At least the prequels had good villains.
Debatable.
Are you kidding?
Well, it had the taxation of the trade routes and stuff, and the droid army you didn't care about, so that was fine. But
yeah, but Darth Maul
didn't say a damn word.
Count Dooku,
just some old guy.
General Grievous
he came out of nowhere as this half droid, half man thing, and then he immediately gets killed.
Man, you're crazy.
No, they're all cool. They all do cool stuff. General Grievous has the 4 lightsabers. Count Dooku has, like, the Force. Count Dooku of them all is probably the best villain. Darth Maul has the cool double lightsaber, and he walks around in a cool way. None of them are good villains in that you're afraid of them, and you're afraid that they're going to accomplish what they want to accomplish. They just do cool stuff. There's a difference. Darth Vader is a good villain because you see his malice and his hatred, and how much he hates everything that is good.
Obviously, Darth Vader's the best.
I'm saying those are good villains, and then General Grievous basically being the head of the droid army, I don't really give a shit about him. Regardless, one of the things that the new trilogy has not done well with are villains. The First Order is not very scary. They are not the Empire. Snokes, or whatever his name was, sucks. You didn't know what his motivation was. You had no idea where he came from. He was basically just like a lesser version of the Emperor. Yeah. Just some scary dude. And then he died. And he didn't even die in a cool way. They just killed him. Not cool. Villain sucked. If they can bring back the villain that everyone loved, basically one of the best villains ever, and effectively use Palpatine, that'll be a big win, and it'll make the movie a lot better.
I just really don't think that his actual character will be in it. I feel like it'll be like a Force ghost or something. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, but they did that with Yoda, and they didn't tease Yoda coming back, you know?
Yeah. But this is how you suck people. I mean, knowing that this is the last movie in the trilogy.
I would have been even more. They would have. You don't think they could have sucked people in if they were like, yeah, Yoda's in this?
Oh, no. Yeah. Of course they could have. But I'm saying they knew regardless people were going to see this movie.
And they know people are going to see this too.
So why did they tease it, I guess?
Because hopefully he has a big part to play in the movie.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. I hope he does. I feel like I'm just trying to like really conceptualize like how he would even work in this. Like, is he trying to just... I feel like he's going to try and take Rey to the dark side, like how he did with Luke.
That's just so played out, though.
I know, but so have been a lot of things in this new trilogy where they've made it very similar to the original trilogy.
I get that. I feel like Rey's already been through her fight, you know, in the Last Jedi, where they kill Snopes and then they kill the Red Guard dudes.
I love that you keep saying Snopes, even though that is the news outlet.
Yeah, the fact checking, whatever. The fact check for here is sucks. So, Kylo Ren offers her the chance to, you know, join the dark side. I feel like that's the... We don't need to see her go through that battle again. She had the chance, and she looked away. It was never... With Rey, it was never really about turning to the dark side for her, you know? That was never her struggle. And to make that, to sort of create that out of nothing in the last movie would not be good. With Luke, it was more so because Luke didn't know anything about his family, and there was that allure of...
I mean, Rey doesn't know anything about her family.
Right, but the biggest part for Luke, I mean, after Darth Vader's like, I'm your father, like, that's the...
Oh, that's the climax. Oh, for like, sure it is.
Luke's like, I could, you know, join my father. Finally have a family. I could rule the galaxy, you know, do all this stuff with the dark side. Basically, with Luke, the allure of the dark side is a lot more than it was with Rey.
Yeah, you're right. I feel like Luke was just a way better developed character.
Yeah.
Like, overall.
Yeah.
I feel like they've tried to do too much with too many characters with this.
Yeah, and then you have shitty characters too.
Yeah.
You got what's his face?
Poe Dan.
Finn and Poe and Rose. And like they're all cool. Rose, the Asian.
Man, I didn't even know her name.
Yeah, she was the one who was going off with like Finn in the last movie. You know?
Yeah.
So like, no offense to any of these characters because they're cool. They all seem like cool people.
Yeah.
But like, what role did they play?
Nothing,
basically,
man.
They fucked things up, and then they messed everything up, and then they sort of got things back. They didn't help.
No, man.
The plot move along. You know, they were just there. They were just there.
I mean, like, my hot take, as per usual, is Rogue One is top 3 Star Wars movies for me.
You know, that's up to you. Probably top 4 for me.
Mostly because, like, if it's a Star Wars movie, I'm gonna like it. We can criticize.
No, it's a good movie.
Well, that's
it's
just
a really good movie.
We can criticize this stuff
I have nothing
all
bad
day
to
long.
say about it.
About what?
About Rogue One.
No, I'm not talking about that. I'm just saying all these Star Wars movies
except
in
for,
general. I know you hate the
Phantom
prequels.
Menace with taxing
okay.
routes.
I think we can all agree that one sucks, Wayne.
Oh, it's a kid's movie, but let's talk about taxing trade routes.
Yeah, it doesn't even make sense.
And battle droids that nobody cares about.
And what's
Jedi.
And what's funny is people...
And Mace Windu sucking.
Oh, yeah. And Puppet Yoda.
Yeah.
Weird puppet CGI Yoda again.
Yeah. Like, give me some Frank Oz.
Yeah. But a lot of people hated Clone Wars more, even.
The Attack of the Clones?
No.
What are you talking about?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Like, Clone Wars is a TV show.
Oh, Clone Wars is a TV show.
Yeah.
Yeah, Attack of the Clones people hated a lot more. Just because it was so long. Like, it was literally... Tia just texted Joe and said, I listened to one of your podcasts today.
I'm a little worried.
Tell her, literally take a picture of me right now and say, we're doing it right now. This is hilarious that you guys get to be a part of this.
Oh, man.
Like, I love
scary.
this right now.
Yeah.
She knows where to find it now, too.
I know.
So,
I know.
Man, you dropping these F-bombs hard. Your Bible study teacher gonna come for you. I don't know. Clone Wars Attack of the Clones was just so long. Like, I have no idea why they needed to make it that long. Like the end scene on Geonosis, though, dope.
No,
I know you hate it. And I know why you hate it. That was a dope scene, and it makes perfect sense.
It's all this, but it's not. Because it's this CGI shit with a bunch of robots that you don't care about, fighting a bunch of nameless clones, and then the fact that you have all these Jedi with their freaking lightsabers. You got 200 lightsabers. It cheapens what makes Star Wars great. It cheapens it because it's just people fucking shooting at each other. That's it.
But that's a lot of the different battles.
Yeah, but it's nobody you care about. You don't care about random clone fighting random droid. It's just a way to sell toys. And it did. I bought a ton of those toys when I was a kid.
Oh, hell
That's all I wanted.
Dog.
I was one of the dumb kids that bought into that.
Oh, hell yeah, dog. I'm buying them toys. I buy them toys right now. You kidding?
But there's no emotion. There's no good guys versus bad guys.
Where you mean in the first three? Like in the
first
prequels?
Three, it's just a bunch of people you don't care fighting each other.
Maybe you don't care, Joe.
Name one clone.
Rex. Captain Rex.
Aside from Rex. Aside from the one. No. Aside from the one.
Here you go.
Aside from the one guy, name me a clone.
That's the point.
That's my point.
But we know the original, the non-clone.
What?
Jango Fett.
Right.
Yes, we know.
Because they're all the same.
Yes.
Because you don't care about any of them.
That's not true.
No, they're just nameless people in helmets.
But that's not true.
Name me one battle droid.
You can't.
That's the point.
Joe, name me somebody in the freaking...
Admiral Akbar.
No, stop. No. I'm not talking about
Grand
Star Wars.
Moff Tarkin.
I'm not talking about Star Wars. Name me someone besides Saruman and Sauron in that army. Go ahead.
So in either of the orc and
the orc army.
In the orc army or the Orkai army? Because it's important to know which one you're talking about.
You're just trying to deflect. You're trying to deflect because you can't answer it.
No, are you talking about the orc army?
Both. Go ahead, both. Go ahead, either one. Because you just made me do droids and you made me do clone troopers. And guess what? You can't name a single one.
Yeah, but at least the orcs show some... No, at least the orcs... At least the orcs show some sort of personality.
Yeah?
It doesn't matter what their names are. They show personality.
But it does matter.
No, it doesn't.
Well, that was your big point.
No, my point is that a bunch of robots don't show any personality. Who cares? Who cares what the robots are doing?
But they do have funny different moments, and they do it on purpose.
Yeah, they do their little funny battle droid shit. Nobody cares.
You don't, because you hate it, and you already have a predisposition to hate it. And
I don't have a predisposition to hate it. I just hate it.
Yeah, you hate it. Because it's cool to hate it, Joe.
Because it's cool to hate it. Because it's cool to hate it.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't even with this man anymore.
Yep, that's what it is. So, we're at the point. Actually, go ahead. Let's say regardless of if it's Star Wars, do we think this final movie in the Skywalker trilogy, triple trilogy, 9 movies, that's crazy to think about. Is that the only movie series to ever do 9 movies? Probably.
Nah. James Bond.
Oh, I forgot about that. James Bond has like 47 movies, I think.
Yeah.
That's fair. So, the last one, Rise of Skywalker.
Spy thrillers next.
Do you watch enough of those?
I've seen some James Bond.
So
watched Mission Impossible.
Oh man, you ever watch The Bourne Legacy?
Yeah, I watched The Bourne.
Okay, all right, yeah, that's a different one though. Yeah. We'll see if that one is even next time. But with knowing this is the last one, but trying to set that aside and just saying based off the trailers that we've seen, do we think this movie's going to be worth it?
All right, if you're looking for an honest opinion,
yeah,
based off the trailers, and if I had no prior knowledge of Star Wars and was not a Star Wars fan, I would not see this movie.
Me either. This doesn't look great.
No.
Because I don't see a villain either. Kylo Ren has been the weakest villain I've ever seen in my life.
To me, it's Marvel, right? Where I've not really seen any Marvel movies. I haven't seen the Avengers. So every time people get hyped up about the trailers, I just don't really care because I'm not a fan of the Marvel movies. If I didn't care about Star Wars, or if I was indifferent to it, I wouldn't want to see this. This trailer wouldn't make me want to see it anymore.
No, me neither.
The fact that I'm a Star Wars fan changes that.
Of course it does.
Yeah.
That is the only reason I want to see this movie is because I'm a Star Wars fan.
Will it stand alone as a good movie? Probably not.
Probably not.
No.
It might, again, you really got to compete against some heavy hitters.
Yeah.
You got Rogue One and then the entire original trilogy. You're not cracking top 5 in my opinion with this movie. You just aren't.
Probably not. Gotta give it a chance, and we're gonna see it.
Of course, we're gonna see it.
$1 billion,
but again,
or whatever.
We're only seeing it because we're Star Wars fans,
right?
So if we're being honest here, and we're going strictly just off of if you don't know Star Wars and you're only watching the trailers of this, I'm not saying
it's not worth it.
It's not worth it.
The first thing we've ever said isn't worth it.
Yeah, I think so.
I think so too.
I would say this isn't worth it unless you are trying to encapsulate and finish off a series. That is the only reason that I'm seeing this, is because I want to see how they wrap up this whole series.
Yeah.
That's it. Because it's a Star Wars movie, and I want to see how it ends. That's it.
Yeah.
Besides that, looks like a shit movie.
Here's the last question, because I guess we're finishing up. We're close to finishing up.
Yeah, but then you got to give your hot take.
I still got to give my hot take. So after these 9... after this trilogy of movies, they're going to come out with... the whole
9 DVD set?
No,
12 probably?
They're done with Skywalker. So basically this whole saga is over. Are you going to watch the next one? Because they're going to make more Star Wars movies. They're just not going to be connected.
Of course I am.
You're still going to watch them.
Of course I am.
Okay.
Are you?
I don't know.
Damn, really? You're right. It feels dirty, though. Mm-hmm. It doesn't feel right that Luke or Anakin isn't going to be in any of it.
Yeah. Or even Rey or Finn.
Well, that's the crazy part. We're going to save our ultimate predictions right before we go see it, but I mean, it says the Rise of Skywalker.
So obviously it's got to have, because all the Skywalkers are dead, except for Kylo Ren.
Yeah. So, but is Rey one?
You got to think she's related.
She got to be something, but that's a different topic. So, final segment of the show. Joe, you always got a hot take.
I gave a lot of hot takes today.
I know you did. You got aggressive. I liked it. It's hot. Go ahead. Give the people what
Did I already give my
want.
Netflix hot take?
What was that one?
About how everything takes too long to go to Netflix?
Yes, you did.
Okay, I already did that one.
He might have run out of things to yell about.
I don't know if I have a hot take. You know what?
Yeah, here we go.
Here's my hot take.
See, here's the thing. I knew it would take 3 seconds for this. This is the one part of the show that we don't really plan. So I love trying to put him on the spot here, and he never disappoints with this. So
my hot
go
take
ahead,
is
give that hot take.
Is movies that insult my intelligence, and movies and television shows that insult my intelligence. Like the Star Wars prequels, like all of the Marvel movies, like all of these movies that are the same. They're basically based off of the same franchise, and they're not going to be good, and they're not going to be different, but you know that they're going to have to do with the same characters, and you know you can sell the toys, and you can sell the merchandise, and the shirts, and all that stuff that people are going to buy, and you're going to make $2 billion, and fucking China's gonna spend another $1 billion on it, and you make the movie not because it's good, but you know it's just going to make money because of all the dummies out there, like me and you, who are going to see it anyway. That's my hot take.
Oh, for sure. I'm going to see that anyway.
Right.
Of course.
Yeah.
Star Wars.
And I'm going to buy the merchandise too.
Hell yeah, I'm buying that.
I'm going to get that for Christmas. And I'm going to be happy with it.
And you know what? When they come out with that giant box DVD set that's the entire Star Wars, like Skywalker,
yeah,
they'll call it
they'll
call it the Skywalker version.
It's going to be $100.
It's going to have 12. Oh, it's going to be way more than that. It's going to be 12 movies.
And you know what? Bob Iger is going to make $200 million a year.
Yeah. And that's fine. Let him have it.
I want $200 million.
I wouldn't even know what to do with that. But I'm buying that DVD set. Just like with The Office going off freaking Netflix next year, Vanessa and I already talked about, like, why don't we just buy the freaking Office, the full thing?
Why don't you put it on your registry?
Yeah, maybe we will.
Yeah.
Because there's no way in hell I'm doing a Peacock subscription.
Maybe I know what to get you. Maybe I know what to get you now.
There you go. That's kind of funny. Nah, put in for that Switch, dog.
I'm not buying that whole Switch, man.
No, I didn't say you had to buy the whole thing.
All right.
So with the Amazon registry, you can put in certain amounts if it's over $100.
Right.
Regardless, you guys don't care.
He's got
about
a whole shower
that.
coming up. He's gonna get some stuff.
Oh man, boy shower. All right, I'm hungry.
I'm Joe.
I hate him so much. This is, man, I don't know. We're on like episode 7 or 8. We're
like
killing it right now.
We're gonna be taking a 2-week break.
No, we are not.
No.
Nope.
Oh. Okay.
Nope.
I thought our host is gone next week.
Yeah, but we do these in advance, Joe. So technically the one that we have for this week hasn't even gone out yet. That goes out tomorrow.
Oh, okay. So we'll be taking
and then this one goes out next Friday, and then the Friday after.
All
and
right.
then
So we won't be
back.
taking a 2-week break.
Nope, we aren't taking any break.
Yeah.
You will not have any type of break.
No.
Joe thought.
Wrong.
But look at what happens when you assume. You make a dick out of you and me.
Sure.
And that's what you learned on today's podcast.
Thanks for listening, guys.
Yep. See you next week.
Ya.